Hey guys, and welcome to the Lazy Lemon Creations podcast. My name is Lindsay. You can find me on Instagram as Lazy Lemon Creations, and you can find me on Ravelry as Lazy Lemon. This is my podcast all about the knitting and crochet that I get into. Diamond painting and cross stitch are on the back burner, but yeah, I do those too. Welcome. I live in the heart of the New River Valley with my husband and our 2 kids. Everybody is upstairs and they are currently packing right now. So we'll get into that a little later. So let's jump into it with some finished objects, because I have 2 episodes in a row that I didn't have a finished object, and now I have 2 finished objects. So let's start with the longest one that was a whip. And that is the blue, look at that, look how big that is. That is huge. Okay, so this blue Musselburgh hat is for my son. It is made using the Baby Bee Sweet Delights in the Baby's Blue colorway. I want to say it is a DK weight yarn, but I knit this for him because it's his favorite color, and it is a Musselburgh that is for my son, and this hat took me so long. I cast this hat on, hold on, let me get my notebook over here that has my dates. I cast that Musselburgh hat on February 10th, so when it was still cold, and I'm pretty sure we were snowed in February. But I cast that on February 10th of 2026, and I finished that on May 31st of 2026. So that actually counts for some May stats as well. So very happy to have that finished for my son now that we're in June and it is 80 degrees outside all the time. So life happens. So my next finished object that I have is my May Freckled Whimsy Christmas Club socks. And I have those right here. So that was the first sock that I did, and then that's the second sock that I did. And I decided that with the cuff I would knit straight into the next color, and then it actually worked out to where at the toe there is like 4 or 5 rows of that brown before I actually started my toe decreases as well. But that is my second finished object for the month of May and the last finished object for the month of May. And that is the Freckled Whimsy Serendipity base that I get. It's a 75-25. And this is the colorway Winter Patina. And so I have received June's colorway. Oh, I didn't even say, today is Saturday, June 6th, 2026. And it's about 9:30 in the morning. But anyway, I have received June's colorway. It's already caked up and in its project bag, ready to go for later. So that is what I have. This is going into my Freckled Whimsy bag back here because I do not use all of the yarn when I make the socks. I still have quite a bit left over, and I actually end up making a second pair of socks with a different yarn as the contrast heels, toes, and cuffs. But yes, that's it for the finished objects. So let's then go into our May stats, and then we will get into some whips. So hold on, I need my notebook. I need my Squeeze the Day lemon themed notebook. This is what I keep up with my monthly grams in, grams out, everything that I work on every month. So for the month of May, I finished the Freckled Whimsy sock, which I casted those on May 5th and finished those May 30th. So those took me 25 days. And those were 58 grams. And then the blue Musselburgh hat was 110 grams. That came out of my stash. So for the grams out, was 168 grams. And for grams in, it was 365. So we'll talk about what came into the stash as well, because I'm very excited for that. So 125 of that 365 is my Freckled Whimsy Christmas colorway. The other 240 grams that came in that was some yarn down here. If you have been active on Instagram, of course, you are familiar with Kayla of the Crazy Sock Lady, not only starting Summer Sock Camp back up, that started May 25th. So we are about a week or two into it. We're 2 weeks into Summer Sock Camp. So that's wonderful and so much fun. But also, Kayla has released a new sock pattern. And it is the Cottage Hearts pattern that is so adorable. But the cool thing about that pattern is the hearts on it. Me and my sisters have a sister tattoo that is 3 hearts that are vertical on our ankles, and we all have the same tattoo, but I have the top heart filled in, my middle sister has the middle heart, and then of course the baby sister has the baby heart filled in. So we all have the same tattoo with our representation on it. So I ended up, hold on. Stuck in the bag of crinkling. I ended up getting 2, but I'm just going to show you one. I ended up getting the, let's fix that, the Mama Jess Knits sock set for the Summer Sock Camp colorway. And what this is this is 2 50-gram skeins of a yellow and a blue, and then 1 20-gram skein of a pink colorway. I ended up getting 2 of these so that I can make me and my 2 sisters the matching Cottage Hearts sock pattern, but I'm going to change the color of our hearts to match our tattoos. So I ended up getting 2 of these sock sets, which is where the additional 240 grams came in for my grams in for the month of May. But I am so excited to cast these on, but it won't be until probably closer to the end of June because of a couple of other things we've got going on. So that's here in my stash that I have been having fun with. So, okay, that is the May stats, that is the grams in, that is yarn in. Now let's talk about whips that I have been working on. So one of the whips, hold on, I've got to move my finished objects. Ooh, I'm moving you instead. Sorry about that. So some of these whips are simple crochet projects and some of them are some knitting projects. So let's start with the crochet projects. This was the blue granny square that I had crocheted using the, here I can show you the label. It is the Karen Cloud Cakes in the Perfect Phasing, and this is the colorway Royal. I don't know that it's actually gonna focus in on that, but it's the colorway Royal. I had completed this square. The last time I had shown it was like I was literally at the end of the granny square, and like I literally completed it with just enough tail to like attach the squares, and it's not even fully stitched together yet, and there's a reason for it. So I am making a blanket for my best friend, and I decided that instead of just attaching the yarn and continuing from there, I am going to do it in panels and then attach them together. So what I have been working on is a second granny square. And so I started here in the center, right there's the center where that string is coming from, because that's where I cast it on. But yeah, I have just been working this granny square up. Again, the same yarn, the Perfect Phase, the Cloud Cakes Perfect Phasing. let's go ahead and move that stitch marker to this blanket so that we can keep up with some progress. But a granny square just works up so fast when you're starting out that you're able to go and get, I don't know, is that 30 rows or something like that? I could do the counting, I just don't want to. But yeah, I have done this much on this panel for the blanket. Hold on. So I decided with the blanket that I was going to seam these together for my best friend. And I am crocheting them using a Clover Amour 5mm hook that I've been using for this blanket. So that is one of the whips that I've been working on. Let's move all of this yarn because it is, normally I don't have the first piece carrying around with me. I normally just have the second one because I don't need the first one. I know what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, this hair is still bothering me. Okay, better. The second crochet project is also very similar to the first in that it is a giant granny square. So this is my black and mint blanket. It is a giant granny square. I started right there in the center with some black, and then every 4 rows I change color, and I have made it to the mint color. I just started it, but this mint color only got me to this corner. So I am just a corner and half away from connecting it for the first row of mint on this. And this blanket is, I mean, it's wider than I can get in the screen, but it is getting there. It is square shaped and it is absolutely phenomenal. I am loving it so much. And that is also being crocheted with a 5mm crochet hook. Sometimes it's my Clover Amour, sometimes it's my Susan Bates. It's whatever I can find in the moment. Pause for a little drink. So that blanket is using Mainstays anti-pill yarn from Walmart. So it's actually very nice. Works up great, and that's just another blanket that's been in the works. So then, my knitting whips that I have. This one, hold on, this one actually has my Kindle in it that I need to charge for this upcoming week. But this has a Felici whip that I didn't even remember casting on. I do not know when I cast this on. I don't remember. I could probably go back and watch a couple of episodes and find out, but I don't know. It is in my Happy Little Yarn Pumpkin Spice Latte orange bag that I just adore. So I don't know, maybe October. I don't know what I cast it on, but that's okay. In here is a completed sock. One full completed sock with the ends not woven in yet because I do that at the very end on my strings. But a completed Felici sock with a contrast heels, toes, and cuffs. And then yesterday I ended up finishing the cuff of the second sock. And so I'm actually getting ready to snip the yarn and resume knitting with this yarn. I am, for the contrast heels, toes, and cuff, I am using Stroll Fingering in the English Lavender colorway. But for the actual Knit Picks color, I don't know what it is. I don't have the label, so I don't know what this is. I know it's not Desert Rose. It could be Punch Bug, but I'm not sure. If anybody knows what this colorway is, not the purple. The purple is, like I said, the contrast. But if anybody knows what that colorway is and wants to leave it in a comment below, I would appreciate it because I don't know. But as all of my socks are, they are Magic Loop knit on a US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter needle. And I knit them on 64 stitches. So I do my standard 20 row cuff of a 2x2 rib. I do a 30 row leg. I don't do a very long leg at all. And then I do slip stitch, heel flap and gusset, a foot and a toe. So that is my sock. And that is the first whip that I have in this bag ready to go. The second whip that I have is another Felici sock, but I know what this one is. So this sock, actually no, I don't know what this one is. Yes, I do. I do have the label. Haha. Yes, I do. Okay, so this one, again, the first sock is completely done. This is the one that had the giant dark black stripe in the middle of some blues and greens. That is on this sock with the bare contrast heels, toes, and cuffs. Again, same sock recipe. It does not change for my socks unless I'm doing a pattern sock like the Cottage Hearts that Kayla just released. But this yarn, this colorway here, well, that's probably the better end. Well, no, neither one of those are the good end to look at. That one doesn't show any of the green and the other one just doesn't show any of the blue. So anyway, this yarn here is the Knit Picks Felici. Focus. Bye. Couldn't read it. Couldn't read it in the viewfinder. So that is what this sock is. And for this one, I literally just have the cuff casted on for the second sock. And I am maybe 2 rows in. Yeah, I am 2 rows into the cuff on this sock so that it is ready to go for my knitting. And it is living in my fall themed Mountain State Stitches bag, which has all the pumpkins and the flowers on it. And it's another fall themed bag that I adore. And the last knitted project that I'm showing is in another Mountain State Stitches bag. It's my Christmas bag, so you can guess what it is. It is the Freckled Whimsy Christmas colorway, the Serendipity, which is a 75-25 base. The name of this one is Elf Squad. So this yarn, for this one, I also just have the cuff casted on and just have 2 rows. And I've got the yarn all caked up, ready to go. I'm going to show it, so if you want to see it, you can see it. If you don't want to see it, look away in 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is Elf Squad, all caked up. Oh my gosh, I love it. And this one, not to give anything away, but this one is a 12 row repeat instead of the 6 row repeat that the previous months have been. So that is my knitting project that I have. Not much work on them, but there's a reason for it. So we are actually taking a trip, and on the trip, it is like an 11-hour drive. We're going to Florida, and we're going to be there for a while. And I need some projects to take with me. So that's why my knitting projects are in the state that they're in. I didn't want to have to worry about casting on, so I went ahead and did that. But now they're at the point where I can just sit and knit the socks to my leisure, which makes me so happy. So all 3 of those socks are going with me. I'm not taking any of my crochet with me. They're too big of projects right now to keep up with. I don't want to worry about a project bag to fit that size. I just want to take my knitting, simple, easy, ready to go. So we're doing that. We're going on a trip. So I will not be here next week for my podcast episode because we will be gone. And then I will return on the 19th, I believe. Yeah. Ooh. I will return right before Father's Day. That's a long time. So yeah, I will be gone an entire week, and then we'll return probably Friday the 19th, so Juneteenth. But yeah, we are very excited for that. Not excited for the 11-hour drive. Excited to go to Buc-ee's. Excited for that. The kids and the husband get to experience Buc-ee's, so that'll be fun. And then we are coming back and splitting up the drive. So the husband will help with a part of that as well. Then let's get into reading and watching. That's it. That's all I've got left. So reading and watching. For reading, I am reading on my Kindle. I am doing the tandem read of the Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn for the Throne of Glass series. And I'm enjoying it. I'm glad I'm doing it, the tandem read, so that it's continuing the story. So I have been enjoying that for jumping back and forth between both books. It's not that difficult. Yeah, I really like it. Then I have the entire Throne of Glass 8-book bundle downloaded on my Kindle. So if I happen to finish the tandem read on our trip, I also have Kingdom of Ash next as well, so that I can read that too. But then for watching, I have been watching Kayla of The Crazy Sock Lady. So excited for everything she's got coming this summer with summer sock camp and her sock patterns. Not only does she have the Cottage Hearts design, but she has the Littles as well, where she released the kid sizes for the socks. So just really happy to be watching and supporting that podcast. Then I have also been watching some of the Toy Story movies, so that when Toy Story 5 comes out, I can take my daughter and we can go and see that. So we are watching those together. So we're catching up on the Toy Story universe on Disney. And then also just been scrolling through YouTube and just watching any and everything that catches my fancy, because there's nothing in particular that I'm watching with the kids home. Can't watch Supernatural. So yeah, it's just a kid-themed summer for sure. But that is all that I have for this episode. I am going to finish my Alani. It is the cherry bomb flavor, one of my favorites. I am going to finish this. We are going to finish laundry and packing, and we are headed out tomorrow. So I hope that everybody has a fantastic 2 weeks until I'm back. And please like and subscribe. Comment down below. I love commenting back. And I hope that I will see you again in 2 weeks in the middle of June. So have a good one. Bye.